Yo, what up, be cats? My Escape 20 here, and today, guys, what I have for you here today is the Baroness skill point guide for Borderlands the pre-sequel. And today we're going to be looking at two different builds, the sniper build and the contract build. So both are different, but they also have, similar qualities to it, and I'll be explaining that to you guys throughout the video. So let's go ahead and start off with the sniper build. So first thing you're going to want to do is Markswoman 5 out of 5, and this increased critical hit damage as well as aim speed. Now, the critical hit damage is very nice, but the aim speed is very important on sniper rifles. So depending on which sniper rifle you have, some might feel sluggish than others, but the aim speed is very, very nice. It allows us to quickly snap to different targets, and it also works with all gun types, so you can't really beat that. Another thing I will say, I guess, is this is increased bullet speed and magazine size for sniper rifles, but the bullet speed, most of the time, it's not a big deal. If you're having like a really slow sniper rifle, then maybe invest into some points here, but overall, it's really not necessary. Next thing you're going to want to do is long range killer, 1 of 1, and your shots deal bonus damage based on the distance to the target. So basically, the farther away you are, the more damage you do. So up to 60% of your weapon damage. So next thing you're going to want to do is Culling the Herd 5 out of 5. Now, you can either do this 5 out of 5 or Warning Shot 5 out of 5. So after missing a shot with a sniper rifle, you gain increased fire rate, accuracy, critical hit damage, and weapon swap speed. So what's going to be good about that is, say someone's super close to you and you shoot your sniper and you miss, you can quickly swap weapons and pretty much melt them with your secondary. So that's really good to have if you're not one of the best at sniper rifle, at shooting. So next thing you're going to want to do is come over here to Magic Bullet 1 of 1. And basically, I'll just sum this up for you. So scoring a critical hit with a sniper rifle, if you're really close, you get a lot of health. But if you're far away and you score a hit with a sniper rifle, it creates a Nova, which heals you over time. So the closer you are, the more immediate health you get. The farther away you are, the more regen you get. So basically that's what that means. And you can see the stats there at the bottom, up to 25% of max health per second for the regen, which is a lot. And the healing Nova gives you 7.5% of max health. So that's a very nice skill to have. So next thing you're going to want to do is come up here to Warning Shot 4 out of 5. And we're going to skip these because they're just too... They're not... What's the right word? They're not really consistent enough, I would say. You have to always hit with a sniper rifle here, and you have to always miss. So, and they don't... And as soon as you... On the always hit, as soon as you miss, they're gone. As soon as you, on all your miss, as soon as you hit, they're gone. So it's not really, I'm not a really big fan personally, but that's just me. But yeah, so this is what I was telling you earlier. You can either do this 5 out of 5 and this 4 or 5. It just depends what you value more, the extra gun damage or all the additional stats. Honestly, I don't really, I don't want to sound cocky. I don't really miss that often. I've just been playing first-person shooters a lot. Pretty much like my whole life. So I don't really miss that that often. So I just rather have the gun damage. But that's just me personally. So next thing you're going to want to come down here and do is get Prudent Prudence. So I like this a lot. This is a pretty good skill too. I had a really tough time between the two. It increases your gun damage, reload speed, but decreases your magazine size. Where, in other words, this, after suffering melee damage or having your shield depleted, after fully recharging, of course, you gain increased movement speed, reload, and gun damage. Now, if it was just after suffering melee damage, I wouldn't do it. But having your shield depleted is really nice. The movement speed allows you to get away. The reload speed allows you to quickly, fire in your secondary and and then reload it quickly, obviously, and then the weapon damage helps you finish it off. So, if you like to have the extra gun damage and don't mind the magazine size, you can play with this. So, you could do like 3 out of 5, and if 23% of the magazine size actually doesn't take away that many bullets to matter, then this is a fantastic way to do it. You get the movement speed, you get the reload speed, and you get the weapon damage, and you also get the large caliber, so, which is all of those stats right there. So, you know, that's just kind of how you can play it. A lot of the sniper tree is very about your play style and how you want to make it. And that's what's really hard about making this guide. If you're more of a want to just do raw damage, don't care, just damage, then large caliber is the way to do it. But if you kind of want to be, you know, evasive and you want to play sneaky and play, you know, just like a sniper really, then this is probably the best way to do it. So I would recommend maybe something like this or that. It just depends on what sniper rifle you're using. But for now, we're going to go ahead and put this in Prudence. So, like I said, it's really up to you. You kind of have to play with it depending on which sniper rifle you're using and the magazine size of that currently and all that. So, next thing you're going to want to come down here and do is the custom loads. And what this is when, let me scroll down. So, when zoomed in with a sniper rifle, a wheel scrolls with icons featuring each of the elemental damage type. So, basically, it's going to be scrolling while you're aiming down sights. And when you shoot, whatever element is on the crosshair when you scroll, when it like automatically scrolls, you deal that element to your shot. Each of that shot till you zoom out. So if you say you land a corrosive against a, you know, I don't know, just against an armored character. So you just keep aiming down sights and you're constantly doing corrosive. So what you basically want to do is use like Jacobs with this. So if you're using Jacobs, you're doing a lot of damage. And you can also have elemental damage applied to it. So you're having a ton of damage. And then you also have, like I said, the elemental applied. So that's kind of why you want to do it. It just depends. But something like the Skull Crusher is OP on this character. Because you always want to do critical hits anyway. And that thrives off of critical hits, and it also doesn't have an element to it. It's really strong. So I'm also going to be making loadout builds for all of these characters, but I'll definitely mention that again. So yeah, that's really nice. And also, scoring a critical hit in this manner creates a small Nova, dealing additional elemental damage to nearby enemies. So that's really nice to have. So next thing you're going to want to come down here is now we focused on the sniper build. Now we want to, or the sniper element of this build, now we want to focus on the Cairo element of this build. So we're going to come over here to the middle tree and do Avalanche 5/5. And this is dealing Cairo damage to an enemy grants you a stack of Avalanche. You may only gain a single Avalanche stack from each enemy. Each stack of Avalanche grants a bonus to Cairo damage and freeze chance. Avalanche stacks begin to decay after a short time and decay quickly upon dealing incendiary damage or entering fight for your life. So basically, what this does is just dealing Cairo damage gives you a stack of Avalanche, and we're going to be having a lot of guns and everything that works off of Cairo damage, as well as our shield and our Nova and just everything in general. But once you use incendiary damage, they're all gone, or into your fight for your life, all your stacks are gone. But you know, that's a very, very nice skill to have. Avalanche is one of the most powerful, not the most, but one of the most powerful in this build. So next thing you're going to want to do is Short Summer 5/5, and this is dealing Cairo damage to an enemy while Cold as Ice is activated, which is your skill. Grants you a stack of Short Summer, improves action skill cooldown rate, and shield recharge, and blah blah blah. So basically, while you're dealing Cairo damage, while your action skill is up, you're going to be doing more Cairo damage, as well as you're going to be constantly having Cold as Ice up. So it just kind of works off of each other, and it's really, really nice. Next thing you're going to want to do is Frigid Touch, right over here. In Frigid Touch, you're going to want to do, I think I did 5/5. I can't really remember. This kill skill, killing enemy causes a portion of Cairo damage to be converted to healing for a short time. So, your Cairo damage is going to be a lot, so you're going to be constantly regenning health. And I really like that a lot. So yeah, next thing you're going to want to do is come over here to Frostbite 5/5. And what this does is any enemy damaged by your shard increases Cairo damage for a few seconds. So this is really, really nice to have. This can melt people. As soon as you get this, you're going to be putting on a lot of damage. So next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to come over here to Cold Advance 1/1, 1/5. And the reason why I like this is increases critical hit damage. Also, scoring a critical hit while Cold as Ice is active extends the duration. So this has diminishing returns. So what you can do here, and this is really up to you, and I'll explain to you why here in a second, why I did it this way. You want to do this 5 out of 5. You want to get the lifesteal, because at this point in the game, you know, you have all these, that's 25, then you have, let's see, 30, 35, 40, 5. So at that point, or I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I did that wrong. Anyway, basically what that is you want to have like a lot of health regen and everything, and we're just going to do this 1 of 5 because we want to have this for now, but we want to unlock Wintertide. So Wintertide, killing an enemy causes all of your non-Kyro guns to deal Kyro damage. Now this is where it becomes super awesome, because you're going to be doing so many elemental damage, but you're also always going to be doing Kyro damage, and it's going to work off of everything, and it's super nice, and as well as dealing Kyro damage actually gives you even more Kyro damage, so as you can see right there. So that's super nice, and it just works off great. So at this point, I gave you 2 different options you can do, and I wrote this down. So you can do this, and you can finish this and go 4 out of 5, and that will get you to level 50, just like, you know, just like we planned. And this gives you the critical hit damage and the shard duration after each kill, or after each critical hit. I mean, so you can do that, or what you can do is come down here and get each one of these skills, and this gives you all of the utilities that you need. So basically, this pulls everything in close. This basically gives more fragments, which gives you increased Kyro damage, pretty much. Next, and then what this one does is gives a wall, so it kind of, you know, knocks them back, and it gives you more of a barrier to disengage. So it really depends on what you want to do. Personally, I really like either the disengage or the polar vortex. This is pretty good too. The ice fragments are strong. They definitely are strong, but it just kind of depends what you want to do. Like I said, this is really all up to you. I'm pretty sure I did the cold advance. I'd have to check. But yeah, I think that's what I did. I don't remember, but yeah, so that's basically it. So the pros and cons of this build is the pros are you're going to be safe majority of the time. You have a lot of regen, you have a lot of disengage, potentially, and you also have different ways to inflict elemental damage. The negatives about this is you are a solo player. You don't benefit off of anyone. No one benefits off of you. Of course, unless you freeze the target and then they melee it or slam it or something. But other than that, you don't really do that. And you're not really, I don't want to say as, that's the best way to say it. You're pretty much sniper focused. So if you're not using a sniper rifle, you're not using your true potential. So you pretty much always have to be using a sniper rifle. So that's the negatives about this build. So let's go ahead and move on to the contract build. Now this is one of my favorite ones. I don't know if it is my favorite yet, but I'll probably tell you a little bit more towards the end. So what we're going to be focusing on is team-oriented and making our contract partner as best as possible, as well as benefiting us because he's a beast. That's what we're going to be focusing on. So we're going to be, first thing we're going to do is get our contract. So what you do is you hold your melee, you hold up a piece of paper, aka your contract. If the ally smacks the contract or signing it, then they become your servant and you become their master. So you deal increased gun damage and your servant gains increased shield capacity while your contract is in effect. This contract is terminated only when the death of either party, and you may only be involved with one contract at a time and may not offer a new contract when bound by a pre-existing contract. So basically that bottom paragraph just says, in order to cancel it, you just have to die. And you can easily get around that. If you want to change character or something, then you just die, and then yeah. But, so that's what, we're going to get that, we're going to have our contract. So we're going to be working on to make our contract as powerful as possible. Next thing you're going to come over here and do is Valet, 2 of 2, and what this is when your servant kills an enemy, you gain a stack, and you and your servant gain increased reload speed for each stack. All stacks are lost upon termination of your contract. And this skill does not do anything when you don't have a servant. So basically, all you have to do is your servant kills an enemy. That's all you have to do. And if someone dies, then your contract's terminated. But basically, if they don't die, you get 100 stacks is so easy to get, and you get all these skills, so it's very nice to have. Next thing you're going to want to do is come over here to Duchess 202, and what this does is killing an enemy grants you a stack of Duchess. You gain increased accuracy for each stack, and all stacks are lost upon the death of you of your servant. So basically, whenever you kill an enemy now, you get more accuracy. Now your contract servant doesn't get more accuracy, but you do. So this benefits both of you. This benefits just you. So, but can also be taken away for your servant. So I don't know. It's kind of one of those situations. So you go to you first, and killing an enemy restores a portion of your servant's shield. So that's very nice. It keeps him alive more, and that's what we're all about, is keeping him alive. You can always play safe, but you can never know what your contract buddy is going to do. So that's what you want to do. Next you're going to do is quality and not quantity, which increases your gun damage and fire rate when using guns of blue rarity or greater, which is so easy to do later on in the game. Now, the thing about this is you don't have to get this right away. You can kind of do this and then go down the skill, and then once you and your servant start getting more blue plus guns, it'll be a lot better. But until then, it might not be the best at first, but it'll definitely help. Your rare gun damage is increased, and your rare gun fire rate is increased. And this is not just your rare guns, but this is rare or better. So, and it decreases gun damage and fire rate when you're using greens or lower. So green or white. So like I said, early on in the game, it might actually hurt you. At level 13, I don't really think you have many blue weapons yet. So this might actually hurt you. So you might want to take this, but overall you want this skill. And you want to do this Fortify because you want to get this next skill, which is Excellent Shot, Madam. Enemies damaged by your servant become set up. Damaging an enemy who is set up deals Kyro damage to that enemy. And then consuming the setup in that process. So basically, the Kyro damage is dealt based on your level and everything. So basically all you have to do is just your servant deals damage, and then you shoot the same servant and it does Kyro damage. That's basically what it does. It's just setting you up for more damage. So that's basically all that is. And but that's actually really nice to have. So next thing you're going to want to do is come down here to All Glory to the Master, and killing an enemy who was first damaged by your servant converts one stack of Valet to one stack of Glory. So if you remember, this is what this is servant kills an enemy, you gain a stack. So you can take stacks away and you can constantly be gaining stuff. So killing an enemy who first damaged by your, I'm sorry if that you can hear my dog, who first damaged by your servant converts one stack of Valet to one stack of Glory, and you and your servant gain a increased of critical hit damage for each stack of Glory you have. So, alright, hold on, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. So basically what this does is you get critical hit damage and they get critical hit damage by you shooting someone and basically you kill stealing them. So that's what's kind of funny about this is you're team oriented, but you're like, and that skill you're kind of selfish, so you want to kill still basically, but it's up to you if you want to do that. But definitely the critical hit damage I think is worth it. So next thing you're going to want to do is keep your chin up 5 out of 5. And what this does is while bound by contract, where you're the master, obviously, and you could, that's the thing with this is you can smack hands with another Baroness and you can work off each other and become so broken. But in this particular skill, you have to be the master. But kills are made by either party by your contract restore health to the second party. Keep your chin up does not restore health if either party is in a vehicle. So that's really nice. So basically all you have to do is be in a contract and then just kill people. That's all you have to do, and then everyone benefits off of that. And so we're going to do that one 5 out of 5. And the next thing we're going to want to do is, next thing we're going to do is next to cleanliness, which is right over here, and we're going to do this Fortify. Now, the reason I made this 5 out of 5 and this 4 out of 5, so, obviously you get more gun damage and reload speed. But this, you want to stay alive. That's what this whole thing is about, is keeping you and your servant alive. So the more regen you get, the more health regen you get and the more chances you are to get that, then the better off you'll do. Now, obviously, you can come up here and give yourself more shield capacity, just like that. Instead of the 4 or 5 there, you can give your max health and then everything like that. But I felt like this is just a lot better late game. But yeah, you just want to stay alive. So this gives you increased gun damage and reload speed with all weapon types that are not incinerary, corrosive, or explosive. So yeah, that's really nice to have. And then finally, you're going to want to come down here and you're going to do a backhand to remember. So what this does is basically it's a melee override, and they're knocked back, they're dealt Kyro damage, and then you get increased movement speed and reload speed. So it's just nice to have. It's kind of one of those things. It's a disengage tool or an engage tool. So, you know, say you're trying to run across the map quickly or something to just not really kill enemies. You can melee them and then quickly run across the map. So it's just nice. But yeah. So next thing we're going to want to focus on is the Kyro element of this. So we don't want to focus on snipers because in this case we don't want to use snipers. We want to use actually real guns. Not real guns, but you know what I meant. Like other guns. And not have to focus on just sniping. So next we're going to do is come over here to Avalanche 5 out of 5. And we've already talked about that. It's a very nice skill to have. Then Short Summer 5 out of 5 is the exact same thing that we're going to want to do. And then actually here we're going to want to do Winter's Fury instead of the Frigid Touch. Now I like the Winter's Fury in this case because activating Cold as Ice causes you to knock back stuff. And I don't know, it's just nice. If your partner's having trouble or something, you could just knock them back and keep each other alive. I think it's a lot better. This is very nice, but this only heals you, where these skills right here really, really help, you know, the whole team out, or you and your partner out. That's kind of why I like it in this build. After doing Winter's Fury, you're going to want to come down here to Frostbite 5 out of 5, and this is the Kyro damage bonus, and we prefer the Kyro damage bonus in this skill tree because obviously we're going to be wanting to equip Kyro weapons and everything like that to just do max amount of damage. Next thing you're going to want to do is come down here to Winter's Veil. And we didn't use this in the last tree, but I really like this one. And I'll show you what we're going to do next. We're going to basically do that in order, as you can see, to get the next one. So this gives you Anova Damage. So when struck by melee or when your shield becomes depleted, you emit a Kyro Nova, freezing enemies. And I really like this. And this also keeps you alive longer. It makes you a little bit tankier. As Cold as Ice is activated, enemies near you deal decreased damage. I'm sorry. So basically, this is only, the reason I did this 3 out of 5 and this 2 out of 5 is, yes, having this 50% is nice, but Cold of Ice, if it's not down, this is useless. So you want to kind of have something that is there all the time, and that's kind of why I did the 3 and the 2. And we don't really care about the Cold as Ice thing here. I mean, it's nice, but these two are a lot better for this build. And then finally, you're going to come down here and do Wintertide 1 of 1. And at this point, we already talked about that, and increases all your damage and stuff. And so at this point, you see you have 3 more skill trees, 3 more skills left. So what I did is I came down here and went to Polar Vortex, grabbed that. I grabbed Fragmented Rain, and then I made Winter's Veil 4 out of 5 to give you more damage. Or I wrote Frigid Touch, which is right here, 1 of 5. And the reason I said this might be a little better, I wrote that down, said this might be a little better than making this 1 more, is that now you actually have some lifesteal, you know, before. So we didn't really want to value it that much before. We'd rather have the disengage. But later on in the game, you might want that. After having all these increases in Kyro damage, before it wasn't useful, but now it actually has potential to be useful. Now, as you can see, you're at level 50. If you have more levels, then you can easily max this out. You can come over here and give yourself more shield, you know, all that kind of stuff. But it's just really up to you. But this is right here is the best way I feel like to do this. So the pros and cons for this build. The pros are you are great. You're a great team-oriented player. You can contract someone that is super strong, like Wilhelm, or I guess the old Nisha. I mean, the new one's okay. Jack, for instance. Maybe another Baroness. You know, it's really up to you. Athena could be good here too, especially if she's going melee build. You have a ton of Kyro damage, so you and her can really, really, really synergize off of that. So that's what's really great about this. Also, you have more tankiness than the other, but less evasive stats. So it's just, now you have less evasive stats, but you do have more utility stats, I would say. So it kind of depends on how you want to look at that. And some of the cons are, if you don't have somebody to play with, this skill tree is not good. This is 100% based off of you and your contract person. So if you don't have it, you're basically, I would say this whole skill tree is useless. I mean, it really is. So that's 50% of your damage gone right there. So 50% of your whole kit gone. So you want to be playing this skill tree with other people, and that will be willing to contract up with you, which I don't see why you wouldn't. But so yeah, so that's basically when you want to use this. So anyway, my favorite personally, I've always been a big sniper person. So in Borderlands 1, I loved Mordecai. In Borderlands 2, I really enjoyed the Zero sniper. And in this game, I love the Baroness sniper. It's a nice kit. I think out of all of them, my favorite is definitely Mordecai. You can't beat Borderlands 1. You just can't. Just because of the Bloodwing and everything just worked off so beautifully. But yeah, so personally, I like the first build, but this second build is fantastic as well. So anyway, if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know. If you have any questions or any tips or anything below, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear about it. So yeah, so thanks guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Alright, peace!